welcome to EBAday 2025 in Paris. Stepping away from the busy event and joining me in the studio is Liliana Fratini Passi, Managing Director of CBI, and she's going to kick things off by telling us about the regulatory developments she's seeing across the market and how financial institutions can keep up with these adjustments. Liliana, thanks for joining us. Good to have you here.
Thank you for inviting me and for the opportunity to share CBI experience. CBI is an industry utility owned by more than 400 financial institutions. We are based in Italy, but with a domestic and cross-border activities. We are oversight by the National Competent Authority, the Bank of Italy, and we as an industry utility work to develop centralized application to ease data exchange, electronic payments between financial institutions according to a business to consumer models. As per the regulation, we are of course assisting to a new awareness, considering the recent introduction in the European landscape of two relevant regulations, the instant payment regulations and especially the European Payment Council requirements. We have assisted a shift of behavior from the financial institutions where compliance, which is of course something very heavy for considering for the investment for all the activities and necessity to comply and to meet all the regulations, but we assisted to a different approach where compliance at the beginning was just considered as a burden to do. We have to do that. Today, a lot of countries and in particular financial institutions are taking momentum in considering compliance a strategic moment to be taken and maybe to reshape the financial services and the way of offering. In this domain, CBI is helping the financial institutions, especially to meet the requirements, the regulation requirements. For instance, CBI name check verification of payee is one of a concrete example where PSP are of course facilitating in the verification, the real-time verification between the payee IBAN and the name, or for instance the opportunity to maintain and to avoid fraud request, and so it is an instrument that helps banks to comply with the regulation, and consider that we are at already running situation, and of course a lot of banks are already subscribing the service, but by October of this year, the entry into force of the obligation, we will spread out the adoption of the name check verification of pay. On the same side, we have another service that goes directly to support banks in prevent fraud detection, which is CBI financial trade, and it is a service which insists in the area of trade activity, finance trade, especially in invoice financing request. And we are helping community through a multi-bank, multi-channel platform to avoid fraud request disbursement, facilitate the verification between the invoice and the and related information. So the regulation is something which helps financial institutions to comply, but on the other hand, it gives the opportunity to reshape financial services.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for bringing us up to date with the regulatory landscape and what CBI is doing in that space. I also want to talk to you about instant payments, which is also a really big topic at EBAday. How have you seen the approaches to compliance change around instant payments?
Yes, exactly. The approach has been completely changed, so considering, as I mentioned before, this different way of acting from countries to countries. But if we look at the markets, compliance is a de facto necessity for all financial institutions. Some markets approaches compliance in an individual way, developing proprietary solutions. Other markets, such as in Italy, through CBI, they approach according to a collaborative model. And CBI, thanks to the verification of payee, name check, is exactly matching this approach. It is our core value. We, for sure, promote collaboration in our industry, but at the same time we help the financial institution in meet their regulations. We help, in implementing new functionality. We assist them in the definition of new standardized APIs and maybe guarantee data handling of GDPR. So we are convinced that compliance is something which is important to comply with, of course, but at the same time, financial institution, thanks to CBI, can be pushed to the path of innovation and to offer on their hands, value-added services to their customers, consumers, and businesses and public administrations.
All right, that's really interesting. So following on from that, could you run us through some of the key methods for security enhancement and also risk mitigation? You touched on it closely already, but run us through these methods.
Yes, well, security and all the activities around this topic is fundamental. First of all, it is clear the recent introduction across Europe of the instant payment regulation from one hand and the Digital Operation Resilience Act on the other put security, compliance, and on the center of this interoperability, and to increase a standardized approach around financial institutions to cover. And in Italy, through CBI, we had an active role in promoting security services. This is the case of CBI verification of pay name check. This is the case of CBI Safe Trade, and this is the case of the launch of open banking platform CBI Globe more than 7 years ago. We of course we have been working since the beginning, having a clear path in our mind to support our shareholders, which are on their turn our customers, in developing standardized, reachable functionalities to ease their communication from one, but on the other, in reducing the cost, the implementation cost, reducing their compliance activity, and having a centralized governance for them. So this is a relevant aspect we take care about.
All right, thank you very much for that. So what about risk and compliance? Today, what's the state of play there?
Well, now we have assisted over the last year, a change from plan, just something which was a theory, to something which now is totally on the market, concrete. So over the last year, we have been working very hard in order to support our financial institution, our PSP, which chose in CBI to comply with the distant payment regulation and in particular the EPC requirements. And this is important because it is well known that thanks to this emergence and increase of electronic payments, from one hand we are assisting to a huge increase of fraud transaction or misdirections payments. So it is relevant, our job, in the definition of these centralized services to help communities and be interconnected, not only at domestic, but especially across Europe. Also guarantee interoperability in between several countries, several platforms, having a roaming approach, so having an integration approach.
So watch this space, I think it's safe to say.
I mean, we are expecting to contribute in this path, in helping our customers, our PSPs, in identifying especially value-added services that can be identified as a short list, the relevant use cases to be added. For instance, the request to pay. The request to pay is something very useful that will be covered also aside to the obligation to release the instant payment by October this year. So we are seeing some issues, some use cases which be relevant for the community, and we are helping in this work identify the relevant use cases to be added as value-added services to what the requirements, the new legal frameworks has established as necessary to comply with.
Liliana, thank you so much. I'm looking forward to seeing more from CBI in the regulatory space. Some really interesting work.
Thank you.
But I'll let you get back to the busy EBA day. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the opportunity. Thanks to you.